The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not endorse, promote, or oppose political parties, platforms, or candidates for political office.
That's from their official newsroom. It hasn't changed.
On a Friday in June, the Pentagon released a new list of recognized religious affiliations for military service members,
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was on the list.
but not under Christian.
2 Utah senators went public within hours.
By Monday, the Pentagon had revised the list. But the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not endorse, promote, or oppose political parties, platforms, or candidates for political office.
We have some thoughts. What a surprise. Who knew? Who would
No
have...
one is
Yeah.
surprised.
Wow. How dare we? Hello, Eternal Family. Welcome to Postmormon Postmortem's Mormon Monday, where we talk about something of recent interest in Mormondom. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Jess. Utah is one of the most reliably Republican states in the country. Trump won it by 20 points in 2024. The state legislature is 89% Latter-day Saint and has been Republican-controlled for decades.
In 2018, Utah voters passed Proposition 4, an anti-gerrymandering law that created an independent redistricting commission with neutral criteria. The legislature repealed it in 2020 and drew their own maps anyway. Those maps took Salt Lake County, the one reliably Democratic area in the state, and split it 4 ways. One slice into each congressional district, so it couldn't elect anyone.
Courts spent 5 years on that. By November 2025, Judge Diana Gibson had thrown the legislature's map out and put a new one in place, a map where Salt Lake County votes together in a district that leans Democratic by roughly 20 points. The Utah Supreme Court dismissed the legislature's appeal in February. The map stands for 2026.
The legislature responded by passing House Bill 392, a new constitutional court law creating a 3-judge panel whose explicit purpose was to move the redistricting case away from Judge Gibson, the judge who kept ruling against them. The ACLU, Mormon Women for Ethical Government, and the League of Women Voters all challenged it. Oral arguments at the Utah Supreme Court are set for September 9th, after the primary, before November.
The repeal petition for Prop 4 also failed. It needed signatures in 2/3 of the state Senate districts. A sustained campaign by Better Boundaries, including pre-filled removal forms mailed to voters who'd signed, pulled it below the threshold. The lieutenant governor officially declared it had failed on April 30th. That avenue is closed.
So for now, the fairer map is in place, the 2026 race is proceeding, and the legislature is still trying to engineer a different outcome through a court system it is simultaneously trying to restructure.
Meanwhile, here's what Salt Lake City actually is. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is headquartered there. There's Temple Square, the conference center, and the city is between 31 and 41% Mormon. Every mayor since 1985 has been a Democrat. Gallup ranks it among the top 10 American cities by percentage of residents identifying as LGBTQ.
The headquarters city of the most Republican-aligned religion in America has voted Democratic in every mayoral election for 40 years.
Because Salt Lake City is where people go when they leave. It's where ex-Mormons land, where the LGBTQ community built infrastructure, where never Mormons from California moved. The city built around the temple is the place people arrive at after they're done with what the temple represents.
And the legislature that is 89% members of that church spent years engineering maps to make sure the city's votes didn't count.
Which brings us to the church's official position. From their newsroom, and this has not changed, the church said, the church does not endorse, promote, or oppose political parties and their platforms or candidates for political office.
They say that, and then a couple of weeks ago, this happened.
The Pentagon, under Pete Hegseth's DoD, which has been on a documented push toward Christian nationalism in the military, hosting Christian prayer services, invoking scripture in military briefings, reduced its recognized religious affiliations from over 200 to just 31. Now, that list included the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but not under the Christian category.
And we talked about this before on a previous Mormon Monday. Utah Senators Mike Lee and John Curtis went public. Within hours, Curtis called it unacceptable. And Mike Lee posted, "Can anyone tell me why the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was left out of the list of Christian churches?"
And then, wham, within 48 hours, the Pentagon revised the list. They didn't add Christian to LDS. They removed the Christian descriptor from every religion on the list, so now no one is labeled Christian. The solution to LDS not being called Christian was to make sure no one got called anything.
But the church got the list changed, and that's the part that matters to them. 2 senators, 48 hours, a federal department revised its official policy.
But the church does not endorse candidates. It doesn't take partisan positions. What it does is field 2 senators who can get a Pentagon classification list revised in 48 hours over a weekend, while the legislature, that is 89% its members, has spent 5 years trying to engineer maps that silence the city where its own headquarters sits.
And we've talked about this on a previous Mormon Monday too. David Bennett, former Utah Supreme Court Justice, wrote an open letter to Dallin Oaks in May, asking him to please use some of that same reach to defend the judges who upheld Prop 4 from removal efforts. Oaks had just coordinated, if you remember, a nationwide constitutional principles lesson into every chapel in America.
And Bennett's ask was simple. Say something. Not partisan, just judges shouldn't lose their seats for ruling correctly on a law that voters passed.
Yeah, Oaks didn't say anything.
No. The church can move a federal department's classification list in 48 hours. It could not find anything to say about efforts to remove judges in its own headquarters state for upholding a law its own members voted for.
But the church is neutral. Wait, that's not neutrality. That's a choice about where to spend the influence.
Right. No notes. Thanks for spending your Monday with us. If this episode resonated with you, or even if it didn't, please tell us about it in the comments.
And please, if you would be so kind, just to take 3 seconds to either drop a 5-star review or share with somebody who else you think would appreciate this. We would love that. Thank you.
We'll put a link to all of our resources for this episode in the comments. Hannah, before we go, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry for what I said about when I was Mormon.
Yes.
I need to say that again.
So sorry for what I said about, the church.
You know.
All that
I'm
stuff.
so sorry about everything.
Everything.
But I'm super sorry for what I said when I was Mormon.
Jess, I am sorry for what I said when I was Mormon too.
Awesome.